That song, Turn, 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 by the Byrds, is the perfect song for today's talk. As you know, most of you know that I do a series of talks this year, and it is based on one of the 12 powers or spiritual abilities that Charles Fillmore formulated, that each of the 12 disciples had a trait or a power, spiritual ability that we all have. And my goal is to learn about what those are and to be able to use those consciously, because we're using those powers all the time. We just perhaps don't know how to be more conscious in our use of them. So the power, spiritual ability we're studying for September is order. Some of you heard that already. Very good. I can know you're awake. Good job. So the reason why I chose, you wonder, or perhaps you don't wonder, how does Liz decide which of the powers fit any month? Because I actually am not random about it. I list the powers on one side and the months on the other side, and I basically go, Spirit, what fits where? And how come order ended up with September is, do we have any Virgos in the house? Okay. There's something about Virgos that it's about being this perfection and really wanting things in some sort of order. Are you with me on that? So that's how, I got you, Greg. So here it is that we have September. So we're going to focus on order. And the definition of what is order in the book Power Up Your Life, which is a book on the 12 powers. Order is the power to organize, align, sequence, arrange, and adjust. Okay, that's what order is. And someone with an underdeveloped power of order are those that are having a hard time adjusting, folks that perhaps would be rather disorganized. None of you here, right? Disorganized, kind of can't make up their mind, just kind of in that state of sort of some confusion, disorderly. Now you also have the egocentric or overdeveloped sense of order, and that's where people are very fastidious and everything needs to be lined up, and the spices are lined up, and the towels have to be perfect, and everything needs to be in the right place at the right space and time. Okay, so any of you know somebody who is either more of the underdeveloped? Does anyone know those folks? Perhaps. And how about the fastidious ones that are kind of compulsive, right? And do you see yourself in either of those? Both. For me, I am probably on that side of having order in my life. Yes, I like to have my towels hung up with the tag in the back. It just bothers me if the tag isn't in the back. So that's one of the things I do. My bookshelf is not alphabetized. However, there are sections: relationship section, health section, prosperity section, the spiritual whatever books section. So there's different sections. So I like to be able to find stuff, How much time do you waste going, where is that piece of paper or that thing, right? That I should know where it is. Then you have, for myself, the disorderly. And my biggest area has always been in that, I'm going to say up until now, because my words are powerful, in paperwork. You get papers. And I think I had a master's degree in piling. And I took the 12 Powers class back with Unity a few years ago, and order was given to me as my power to study. And I decided I needed to go from a master's degree in piling to a master's degree in filing. Anyone, right? So I have worked on it. I have improved tremendously. I used to just come in and go, I'm not in the mood to do that. I'd have a box of papers all over, and I'd be like, okay, time to clean them up. I put them all in a box, put the lid on the box. Yep, it's all cleaned up. It doesn't take long to put that in a file. I have so improved. And it's very good when one moves is to have some order in the middle of chaos. And all of you have moved. It's chaos. I had Brendan and Taylor helping me. They're back in the booth, and Charlotte. And they'd come walking in, and they're like, where do you want this box or this thing? And I'm like, I don't know, just set it over there. Because my new place, I didn't have everything in order as to where it would go. It's actually about 95% done, though, because I don't have a lot of stuff. Thank you, Spirit. So I'm very happy with my new arrangement. In the book that I love to read for the 12 Powers, Divine Audacity by Reverend Linda Martellowitz-Sett, she defines order in her book. She said, God is order, the organizing principle revealed in the pattern and sequence inherent in all life. Divine order is not a correction of some unhappy condition, but an integrated arrangement of energy in a pattern, sequence, or method. The sun rises and sets. Winter gives way to spring. Apple seeds grow into apple trees. Human birth occurs in approximately the 9 months after conception. 1 + 1 = 2. Order is built into all of life. It is the architecture of the universe. Everything, from the spirals of a nautilus to a hexagonal honeycomb, from infinity lines to ever-expanding circles, there is a display of orderliness that dazzles scientists and theologians alike. So, order is the architecture of the universe. And Linda Martellowitz-Sett breaks the order into 3 parts, and she talks about organization, evolution, and adjustment. I'm going to speak of organization. Before we do that, I want to speak more about order. In our world, in the last few years, does it seem more chaotic than ever before? We have fires that are out of control. There are hurricanes more than seems to be ever before. There are floods. There's this wonderful thing called a pandemic. There's racial injustices and minority injustices. There's so many things in our world that seem chaotic, out of control. Now, the question I have is, if God is truly the architect, the order that is the architecture of the universe, where is God? Where is the order in all this chaos? Is there order? Is this even true? Where is God? God is in me. God is in you. And you, and you, and all of us. We talk about spiritual principle number 1 in the 5 principles, which you're all going to have a book and you're going to be reading it because you really want to understand this teaching and apply it to our lives. It's one thing to have a thought of it, but I want to deepen it. So God is order, and it is in everything, whether we can see it or not. We have all this chaos, and I go back to the idea of God is order. Can we see it? Can we believe it? Here's the answer. Where is God in all of this? Even when we say God is everything, but we don't say God is this, but not this. God is order, but not chaos. Well, what if chaos is just another aspect of order? Okay, yep. Because it's not left and right. It's not chaos on one side and order on the other, and it's either or. Turn that horizontal line into the vertical line. Order is the top of that. Chaos is here. It's on a continuum. We have chaos out of orderness, and we can rise up into having order. It isn't a polarity. it is an aspect of itself. Chaos is the lowest vibration of order, let's say. So here's the truth. We can't really see from our human, myopic, limited perspective the order when I'm in the midst of things. I had a friend who took her life. She was 29 years old. Her name was Gigi Cavanis, and she was the epitome of life. She was the person who played out in center field or the softball, and she would dive. She was so full of life. And at 29 years old, she took her life. I could not comprehend that in any way, shape, or form. And yet, I needed to make some sense out of something so senseless. And the truth is, I couldn't. So I chose to go to a higher viewpoint, which was, or basically my prayer was, let this death not be in vain. May good come from it. May good come from this. I may never, and I needed to believe that. See, what is the choice? I need to believe that. There's a story in the Bible about Joseph in the coat of many colors, and he gets thrown into a well, he gets thrown into a jail, and he ends up becoming the Pharaoh's or the king's right-hand man and helps their famine and all the things that he knew because he had these dreams and he knew things. And he said that you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. That's the truth. There is good, and I might never see it, but I have a choice. We have a choice. Can I believe in something I can't see? Yes, I can. In fact, that's what faith is. It's to be the evidence of things not seen, to have an assurance of those things that don't appear to be there. There doesn't appear to be any order in this world. And yet, if I was to go to a higher place, Spirit's vision, maybe there is order in the chaos. You know, I can't know it, and that's okay. I don't have to know it all. I don't want to be a know-it-all. Spirit is that part of us that knows and has the higher vision. So in the middle of chaos, you may not see it, you may not believe it, and you can choose to say, there is order in the midst of all of this chaos. So let's talk about organization. We have internal and external organization. Okay, so how many of you have a part of your house that's messy? Garage, drawer, closet, bedroom, office. There's usually at least one area, unless you're actually on that overdeveloped order person. And maybe you should be the person who goes and messes it up. See if you can handle that. But we all have a place that could stand some organization. However, who wants to do that, right? My 4-year-old says, I don't want to do big people stuff. I just want to play. I get it. So I'm going to give you a method. It's called the 10-minute method. And basically, you set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to put everything I have into organizing this closet, this drawer, this closet, this garage, this room. I'm going to spend 10 minutes and that's it. Timer goes off, I get to quit. I don't have to do any more. Now, you may be feeling good and want to do more, but only if you really want to. And feel what it feels like. Your challenge for this week on that external organization is to do the 10-minute challenge, and I'm going to offer, can you do 10 minutes out of your 24-hour day every day? 10 minutes isn't that much. See how you feel after 10 minutes. See what it feels like after you've done 10 minutes times 7 days. Because we have a mind-body connection. Everything we do physicality-wise affects our emotional well-being. So notice that. Be that experiment. You'll feel better and your place will be more in order. Then we have the internal world, where we have our own elements of disorder. And I'm going to do a comparison of 4 major chaotic, out-of-control areas in the nature world and do a metaphor with our internal world. Raging fires in the world. Well, that represents our rage, our anger, our resentments. Okay? Then, so what do you do? Because we carry resentments and rage and anger oftentimes and we bury it. Well, to put that fire out, we need the water of forgiveness. The water of forgiveness is going to extinguish the resentment, the anger, and the rage. Now, I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can utilize that forgiveness. One is called a forgiveness letter. It's only for you. It's not something you send. You pick an area, a situation, a person that you have anger, rage, or resentment towards, and you write them a letter, not to give to them. And this is when you give voice to your feelings. Because it's not a spiritual bypass to go, okay, well, I forgive you. It's, I'm going to give credence to my feelings because your feelings are legitimate and need to be heard. So the first paragraph in this forgiveness letter, anger. You just write your anger. I hate it when I'm ticked off that you did this. I hate this. I'm mad at you for this. I hate this whatever it is. You put that down because you've got to honor your voice, not bury it. Give it some air and energy, not have it hold it in. Then you go to the next paragraph. Hurt, sadness. I feel hurt. I'm sad that I'm worried. I'm sad. I'm hurt. Give voice because our anger is usually, it's actually covering up that which is hurt. I'm only angry when I'm hurt or scared or feeling sad because I feel more in control when I'm angry. I feel less so when I'm feeling sad and hurt. Then I go to the third paragraph. This is when you write down your fears. I'm afraid, I'm worried, I'm scared. Giving voice to that part of you. These are voices inside, just needing to have honor, to feel your feelings. They're not bad. They're actually legitimate. They're part of the divine. Then you go to paragraph number 4. That is, I regret, embarrassment, shame. And so you say, I'm ashamed. Please forgive me. Because we usually have a part in everything that we're playing. Then the last part of this forgiveness letter is, I love, I forgive, I appreciate, I know. Because we have these layers of our being that need to be expressed. So you've written this, and at the top you actually say, I'm writing this letter to share my feelings. So you've done that. Then you get another piece of paper, and you write a letter back to yourself from that person, situation that you have written to. And this is the key. What you write back to yourself is what you would like to hear them say. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I should have. I wish I had. I'm ashamed that I treated you that way. I wanted you to be something that you weren't. There is some, and again, you're saying, Dear Liz, I'm writing this to say thank you for sharing your feelings with me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I wish I hadn't. I can't go back. I love you. I appreciate you. Whatever that person or thing you would like to hear them say. What happens is you never have that conversation. This can be actually with someone who's passed. Because it's not going to that person. It's to create the healing within our own selves. We can give to ourselves what we are seeking and would help the healing process. So forgiveness letter is a part of that. See the water of forgiveness. You can also use the Ho'oponopono prayer. which I think is super powerful. It's very easy, and it's 4 statements. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That is another tool that you can use to quench the fires of rage, resentment, and anger. Next we have, ready for the next one? Hurricanes. Hurricanes. What is that? That's our mental. When we're swirling around with all kinds of thoughts and you want to like settle down. Anybody here have like too many thoughts and you just want to go, stop already, right? Because they're swirling and there's so many thoughts and I just want to quiet that storm. Well, you know, in the middle of a hurricane, there is the eye of the storm. There is perfect calm in the middle of the chaos of swirling thoughts. So we want to come into the center. So when you have that swirling, you come back to center, you take a breath, and you let it go. And you consciously start to breathe, and you can focus on a little mantra or a word to get yourself centered. Me, I just like saying, breathing in, saying, God is, I am. God is, I am. I want to settle myself down from the whirling hurricane and come back to the center. Next we have, what was the next one? You know, that's why we have notes. Yeah, because it's helpful to have a note. Drought. There are places in the world that it's so dry and there's drought. What that signifies is thirst. The earth is thirsty. So where are you thirsty? What are you thirsty for? What is your soul, your spirit thirsty for? And ask yourself, what am I thirsty for? What does my soul need more of? Because we often can neglect what we need on the deepest level. So take the moment and ask yourself, what is it? What is it that I need more of? So that I can be more balanced and centered and have order in my life. Answer that question and bring yourself back to order by giving yourself what it is that you thirst for. And the last one is floods. There are places in the world where it floods. We sometimes have the flash floods here. Floods, that signifies the flooding of that we're drowning in fears, doubts, and worries. Oh my. Fears, doubts, and worries. We have fears, doubts, and worries, and we're drowning in the middle of it because there's so many things to be worried about, afraid of, doubtful of. It's so easy to get caught up in those. So, when you are drowning in the waters, what do you need the most? You need to be rescued. You need a lifeline. We need a lifeline to get me out of the drowning. If I'm drowning, I need somebody, a lifeguard, or someone to throw me the lifeline. So my question is, what or who is your lifeline when you have fears, doubts, and worries? When you have fears, doubts, and worries, when I have fears, doubts, and worries, I need help. Help. I need to ask for help. I need to ask for prayer. Perhaps I need some spiritual counseling with a minister or someone who can help me past that flooding of those fears, doubts, and worries. So here we are in the middle of chaos. And is there order in chaos? I'm waiting. Okay. I know you're busy, you're deep in thought. There's a lot that you've been fed, I hope, and that you'll take these words in. You know, and the thing is not to be overwhelmed, because there's a lot that can be overwhelming. All we have to do is focus. Focus, which we did a study on a couple weeks ago. Focus on one step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. It's one at a time. We know AA programs and any of the anonymous programs, one day at a time is sufficient. One step at a time is all it takes to get my life back in order. So do the steps. Be in order. Use the steps and watch your life become less chaotic, or perhaps it'll be more chaotic. Sometimes when I try to create order, I have to dump out a drawer, and it's now even more chaotic. But I can put order into that chaos. It's already there. And so it is. One step. Thank you.